Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mentoring with Geraldine and the Bite Size Podcast. How the devil are you? So, I've got quite a lot going on right now because we're renovating. We've moved. So, if you're watching me on YouTube, you'll see I've still got the fake background going on because we moved from our big family home into a smaller home in what I think is a better location. We're right next to a reserve, we've got a train line really close, all of the good things. But we've got a it's not as old. The house isn't as old as the other one, but of course, we'd already renovated that. We'd already done that one up before we sold it. Well, 11 years ago, we did it up. But now we've got a new but old house, 1961 built, and nothing's been done since 1961. So we're constantly spending money. And so I thought, what are we going to talk about in March? And I thought money and stability would be a really good theme for March because I'm also looking at putting an extension on this house. It's 3 bedrooms, but it only has 1 bathroom. It's in a good school zone for on sale in 20 years when whatever happens. And so we've got to think, every time you look at doing something, you look about where is this in the future, whether it be your innovations, your family, your business, whatever it is you're doing, you want to buy a top. It's like, well, is this so current fashion that I'll never be able to wear it after next week? Or will this last? What is my price per wear? What is my ROI on this product? What is this ROI on whatever it is that I'm doing? And so, what we really want to be doing, of course, is shifting the focus from numbers to confidence and structure around pricing, around money. So, I know that if I sell a 3 bedroom, 1 bathroom home, even in 20 years' time, it's not going to sell as well as a 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom home. Okay. I've got a shed on my property, things like that. So, there's lots of things going for it. But the 1 bathroom thing is often a kicker. Okay. So that's a long-term focus. It's long-term thought problems. It's confidence around sale of my home, around the structure of what I'm doing and where I am moving forward. And the same goes for our businesses. So, when we think about our business, where are we going? What do we think around pricing? So, are we sitting there going, "Oh, my clients can't afford that?" Or I personally am valuable. I've got 30 years of experience behind me. There's not many practitioners out there who can say that and to have a nursing background. Their qualifications are real qualifications. I'm not an influencer, is what I mean. I've got degrees, I've got diplomas, and I keep updating my CPE, my CPD are up to date. And you, as a listener, are probably in a similar situation. You're probably thinking, do I do another course? Where do I go from here? Um, how am I going to afford that next course, that next level of learning? I get a lot of messages all the time. Oh, I'm currently finishing this course and then I want to do your pediatric course. And I'm like, now, well, how long is it going to be available for? And, at the moment, I'm thinking maybe I retire next year. But at the same time, I can't actually imagine retirement for myself. So there's this sort of half thing. Hubby's retiring, so the conversation is always there at home. But is that for me? Do I have to retire when he retires? What happens next? Where do we go from here? So I do a lot of planning around when I'm going to see people. So my big working day, my big business day is a Monday, and then I do things on a Tuesday. Now, it doesn't always work out that way at the moment because I might have builders here making a ton of noise. So I ended up down the library the other week for my Monday group because I had builders here. There was no way I could have done anything. And I've got no air conditioning. Well, I have now. But at that point, I had no air conditioning. So, there's things we have to really think about with our structure and how we're going to do things. What are the pricing issue that I have, you have, with your business right now? What self-trust do you have? What do you trust within yourself about your pricing structure? I know I've been around for, a decent length of time. I have value because of the fact that I've had a bricks and mortar business. I now work online. I'm thinking about going back to bricks and mortar. Do I want to do that? Where I'm actively nutting out these things. Probably won't go back to bricks and mortar, but it's an option. Is this something I'm going to do? Do I have a fear of losing my clients? Now, you might have that fear. I have no fear of losing my clients. If I was to contact all of my past clients who I stopped seeing because I closed my books, and so I've got sort of a regular, I don't know, 20 or 30 people on my books still, but there's hundreds in the background. And if I was to contact them, I reckon half of them would come back and see me with their, updated problems. But that's not necessarily what I want to do. I know that new clients will come to me because, well, I can manifest them, but also I've got really good Google reviews. I don't have a fear of losing clients. The clients, because people stay with me. When I lose clients, it's because we have either mutually agreed they're not going to see me again, or I just don't rebook them because they're not my people. you know, do you have, what's underneath this problem? Is it that you have a discomfort around money? It's the perception of others that is making you have those considerations around money. You do have to be happy where you sit with how much you charge and what you pay to other people. And there is a difference between that undercharging and undervaluing. Very different. I don't, I have a lot of value to give. Right? I've had, my Monday group, they love it. You want to join the Monday group, get in contact because it is wicked. It's really good. Twice a month we meet and they get to go through all of their problems, or the client problems. They get to ask business questions, whatever they want. Everybody gets time to ask their questions, right? So, and that can be about money as well. So, but it means that I don't feel that what is my value? Am I undercharging my value? But am I so worried about my charging my value that it's not coming across as confident? And so clients aren't booking in because they're not seeing your confidence. Because not only are you undervaluing your skill, you're undervaluing yourself. You're undervaluing what you have to offer. Okay. So, you know, copying other people's pricing doesn't work. I would say look around you and go with the average 100% when you're starting out. Because even though you're brand new to practice and everybody else is charging, some people be charging phenomenal fees, other people are just charging average fees, you do want to go with the average. You don't want to undercut anyone because then you, who are those people who are going to come and see you anyway? Are they going to be the valuable clients that you want because you've undercut everybody? Are you overcharging? People are going to look at you and go, well, you're brand new. Why am I going to see you when the woman next door has been doing it for 30 years and she's, $50 cheaper? So you want to go on an average to start out. You want to look around and go, well, everybody's charging, 150 first appointment and they're charging just under 100 for follow-up. I'm going to do the same. Right. And that way you have a confidence in your pricing because that's the local average. Um, so that's another thing. So in South Australia, our pricing is different to the coast, to the eastern seaboard, right? So if you're looking at averages, if you're working online, you can look at an average online. It doesn't matter where those people are, they're everywhere. So you just look at an average for everywhere. But if you're in a bricks and mortar in a local area, you do want to be on the average because you want to show that you are you. You want people to see who you are. You want people to come to you because you are you. All right. So if you and I charged exactly the same amount, you would still get the clients that you get, and I will still get the clients I get because people will look at me and go, oh, I want Geraldine. She's cool. She's right for me. And other people will look at you and go, oh, she's cool. She's right for me. She's my vibe. Or, well, Geraldine doesn't do cancer. And this person does. So I need to go to them anyway. All right. So we need to think about our value in relation to those around us. We need to be confident with what we're pricing at, so a good average. Um, and we have to also reflect when we look at our pricing on the scope of our pricing. What does it cover? Is it just covering your time? Is it covering your education, your HEX fees? Is it covering you work from home, your mortgage? Is it covering if you're in an office? Is it covering your office fees? What is it covering? You're going to have to sit down and work out how much, you know, you need to charge as well. So, how much energy you're putting into it. It should reflect that. It should reflect your energy as well and the responsibility that you're taking on. So, for the mathematics of it, the basics, how many weeks a year are you going to work? So, there are 52 weeks in a year. So, it's all very well going, I want to earn $52,000, and there are 52 weeks in a year, therefore I have to earn $1,000 a week. But who works every single week of the year? The 2 weeks over Christmas and New Year, people are often closed over that summer period. There's lots of times, Easter, people aren't necessarily working. There's all sorts of times when, and what about going on holiday? Are you going to go on holiday? So I personally have always worked mine out on a 40-week year. All right. So, because that's what works with having young children. I don't have children at home. They've both moved out. I'm an empty nester, but I still work everything on that 40-week calendar. I still take holidays. I still want to take breaks. Hubby's gone part-time. He's working 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. So in the off time, we're going camping. We go away. And so the last couple of times they've been away, I've like, yep, we're going away. There's internet. I can work. And I've got to those places and it's terrible internet. I haven't been able to use it at all. So I haven't been able to work. So I had actual holidays and had a lovely time because I just look at it and go, well, can't do anything. There's no internet. Can't be there. Can't help it. So when something feels hard, like pricing, what is that telling you? What is the pricing telling you if it's hard? Have you worked it out properly for the number of weeks a year that you're working? Have you worked it out properly in relation to your needs of to what you need to cover? Is it that you need to take on a part-time job? And that's okay. It's totally okay to have another job, right? Don't be thinking you've got to drop everything and have this one job because if you work for somebody else, especially in the initial stages, then you're going to get money into your superannuation, aren't you? Which you're not going to put in there unless somebody else is doing it for you, right? So most of us who are working for ourselves have not thought about our superannuation, and you have to think about that. As if you're like me and you're a mother and children, then you wouldn't have been putting money into superannuation. You will have been working part-time. The money's not going in because you're juggling all of the jobs. You actually, maybe you're working for somebody else, you're working for yourself, and you're working for the family. So you've got all of these jobs, but only one of them possibly initially is paying, and that's the working for somebody else job. All right. So, and the working for yourself is still, you're getting there. A number of people, one of the people in my Monday group is a school teacher. And so it's not called locum, that's a doctor. Um, you know, wasn't a teacher. They take on, they do days, they cover like a nurse, they cover for other people. So she does that. She does cover at her old school. So they know her really well. They give her the shifts she needs, and she manages to still have, the new job as a nutritionist as she develops her business and as she gets new clients. But at the same time, she's got this other income coming in that just cover the bills. It gives her that little bit extra and pays her super. So it's okay. It's absolutely okay to have another job forever, not necessarily just while you're starting out. I was a nurse and a naturopath for a really long time. I dropped my nursing and just be a naturopath, and then I go back to nursing and do nursing and naturopathy. And then I was a lecturer. So eventually I got rid of my nursing because I was lecturing. And so I was lecturing and seeing clients. And then I was just seeing clients. I was seeing clients and mentoring. And it's something we have to look at and think about. how is the money going to work? How am I going to work it out? Um, and if I'm going to change my pricing, how will I feel about that? And am I worried? Am I worried that if I change my pricing, something awful will happen? Because sometimes we need to shake things up. It might be that you actually have quite high pricing and suddenly you haven't got as many clients, you can't figure it out. It might just be you need a payment plan for them. Easy. You just work a payment plan. Maybe you put a little bit of testing or analysis right at the beginning. So that's all paid for, and they pay for that first appointment. So they've actually paid for a lot of it by the time they get to you for the analyses of that, for the testing or whatever it is, so that you can go through the what you've sent them off for. Maybe there's a system there that you can work. What is it that you do that means that you can have more than one thing going on at once? You have the same number of clients as you've always had, but they pay you in incremental amounts. If you've got a wait list, what can you do with that wait list? Maybe you can give them an activity that they have to complete before they see you, because by the time they've done some sort of healthy living activity, then the wait list has freed up and they can book in with you. So you need to really think, what am I really worried will happen if I change my pricing? And how can I be confident in my pricing? What's going to make me feel confident about my pricing? So it's a good idea. We all need to look at the beginning of the year. We all need to go through our pricing. We need to go through our website. We need to go through all of these things. So this is your nudge to go and do it for you. Oh, and a reminder that on the 16th of March at 1:30 p.m., that's Australian Central Standard Time. So you could be before that or after that, but chances are you're not in South Australia. But we're having a webinar and we're going to look at strategies and structures around that appointment and around that time. And I'm going to be talking to you about my resource library and my Monday group, because I would love to interact with you more and help you out more with your business. Yeah, it's the beginning of the year. It's a great time to start with these things and really push forward and figure out what it is that you want to do. So I'm going to leave it there for today. It is the Bite Size podcast, so I shouldn't rab it on for too long, should I? And we are going to stay with this money theme for the month of March. So money and stability, because I think stability is really important. So, next time, I think we might have a little bit about the nervous system and, that feast and famine cycle. So I sort of touched on that a little bit with the workout, how many weeks a year you actually need, how much money you have to earn on the weeks of the year that you're actually going to work. So you have to figure those sorts of things out. And I'll leave you with some of that to do. Do love leaving you with a little job. And I look forward to catching up with you on the next podcast. I will see you in the traps. Look after yourself. Try now.